if it wasn't discrimination. And you have the nerve, you have the nerve to sit there on your high horse and preach to these bottom-feeding dwellers who sit in the chat room, like Alliance Blog, who's been doing this for over a decade, who's only got 2,000 followers. Yeah, I see you, you're a jabroni and a ham sandwich, and I don't want to hear from you ever again about what the NWA is supposed to do. This is what pro wrestling is supposed to be. This is what the NWA is supposed to be. No. You don't tell anyone what the NWA is supposed to be, and you certainly don't lecture me about what the NWA is supposed to be. I made the NWA.
Why are you excited to be here tonight?
Because I'm just excited.
Yeah. No other explanation. Now, I do believe, tell me the truth. Is it true that your dad has a ringside seat but didn't get you guys ringside seats?
That is true, but it's because of his YouTube channel, okay? It's his YouTube, okay?
Her dad's an influencer. Let him go, guys. But your dad's awesome, right?
Yeah.
See, he's awesome. Yeah! Give it up for Claire. Thank you so much, Claire. High five. Yeah! Woo!
Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive pop with Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Bobby.
Here's the story now. If I see Kevin Owens, or even someone who looks like Kevin Owens, I drop them on sight.
Welcome.
It's party time!
So, what day is it today?
Tuesday?
Wrong. It's NWA Day.
They want NWA? Let's give them NWA.
I was thinking that it might be a good idea if you and I formed an alliance.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Attention, everyone. Welcome to the greatest wrestling program in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? Stop what you're doing and listen.
Okay, let's party.
It's the pre-party with J. Cal.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information for the National Wrestling Alliance. My name is Jay Callan. Each and every Tuesday, right here on Kick, Twitch, and YouTube, we stream all across the platforms and on TikTok. And we're talking NWA, and obviously, there's a lot to talk about with the big news that have broke out today with the new deal with Roku. Now, I get it, guys. There's a lot of things to get excited about. I just saw Double D just popped me in the comments. He said, "Boo, her dad stinks." Great. He says in the chat, he says, "I'm listening while driving as usual. I love it." Rosville's lifting the weights and listening to the stream. Appreciate you, Rosville. That's my guy right there. You might know him better on the streets as Alliance Late Night. He's on YouTube. Make sure you follow him. Part of our co-conspirators. Damn. Aldous tore you apart. That's my ammunition. I don't think you guys realize how much of this show is driven by spite. Nick Aldis, your SmackDown general manager, once told me that I was a jabroni ham sandwich and that I only had 1,000 subscribers. And he didn't want to hear from me again. So you know what I did? I took that, I put it on a t-shirt, and I sold it for charity, which we raised over $100 for juvenile diabetes research, and which is important to me because my daughter has type 1 diabetes, and I did something very positive with that. But then I went on to get 6,000 subscribers, and if you go look, I don't know what he's at now, but at one point, I had more subscribers than Nick Aldis on his YouTube channel. I'm not going to go look right now. I'm not that petty, but hey, Nick Aldis. I'm doing that as hard as I can. Anyways, Let's see. Devin Dowling also says Colby versus Frank. Sucks we know who wins this one already. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. Again, the NWA knows this. I feel like we're beating a dead horse on this one. The taping schedule sucks. It's awful. It kills the momentum for the show. I was at Crockett Cup. Everything that happened at Hard Times was spoiled by being at Crockett Cup. This week we'll see some new things, and that's great, but it's still at the same time like this is old news, guys. It's old news. And so it's kind of hard to get excited about a show that you've already had spoiled. Now, you know, I get why the NWA does what it does, but that doesn't justify it for me. And I still feel like this is ultimately kind of a letdown, which makes the news about what was dropped today by the Hollywood Reporter and other Hollywood content machines, and you know, the news about the NWA. Let's see here. Oh, I just saw that Natty tweeted about it. You know, the National Wrestling Alliance will have its big first television deal. And can we use that term loosely? The biggest television deal. Being on the Roku is great and all, but it's not the same as being on the CW network. It's not the same thing as being on ESPN or Fox or Paramount. And I'm not saying that this can't be a good thing for the NWA, but let's not overstate what this is. Let's not overstate what the NWA has done by getting a deal on Deadline. Yes, the NWA will have a new home. It sounds like this deal, and no one has been able to explain it to me in full yet, but it sounds like this deal will replace Power, which is great. Excuse me, let me rephrase that. Will not replace Power, but will replace the deal of what they've been showing on X. So it sounds like, unless I'm wrong, it sounds like the NWA will be leaving X to go bring Power to this new platform. Now, the good news is, what I'm hoping this is not just a pay-for-play deal. I'm hoping that this will create the opportunity for the NWA to get their broadcasting up quicker and have a faster turnaround time. That's what I'm hoping. What is it going to be? What are we going to get? I don't know. There hasn't been enough news with regards to what this is. And it's so, I want to get excited, guys. I really do. I want to be happy. I want to be like, yes, the NWA scored one. But like, how excited did we all get for the CW app and then find out that, oh yeah, no, the CW, it was just the CW app, not the CW network. And then it was gone in 8 months. I want to get excited for the NWA, and I want things to land into place. I guess the time to get excited is going to be July 25th. Until I know more, I'm just going to say, all right, it's business as usual. Roswell says, you and I can get on Roku, but they must have gotten something better than just a Roku app. I mean, yeah. That's the hope, right, Rosville? That's the hope, is that they are that's the hope, is that it's something more than just a Roku app, right? That's the hope, that it's more than just that. Again, if they're making a big deal about just creating a Roku channel, what is it called? A FAST, F-A-S-T. I'm not going to get excited about that. Now, if someone is paying for them to produce a show, that's when I'm going to get excited, because that means that they're going to be able to have the turnaround time much, much faster. It means maybe we'll get more live events on whatever show channel it's on. And maybe, just maybe, we'll even get some bigger stars into the NWA. And, you know, not that the bigger stars is what's hurting the NWA. I think the roster is great. But I think it would add more value to the program. We saw what Natty Neihart did when she appeared in the NWA. We saw what Rhino did when he showed up for the NWA. So, I'm not saying that aren't good things, and I'm not saying that this isn't something to be excited about. It's just I need more details before I go all in and buy my right Roku player for my TV. Like, you need to tell me why I should be excited. I need to see some more details. All right, there are some comments that I totally missed, so I'm going to try to get back to the comments. We're going to talk about NWA. We're going to talk about Power. Again, this is a big deal. Don't let me sour you guys on the excitement for this Roku deal, but I want to have clarification. Starts July 26th. Awesome. Or is it July 28th? Now I forget. Either way, that's awesome. That's great. Look, I have a calendar on my computer. I could just go to that and be like, boom, what's January? Or excuse me, July 28th is a Monday. July 26th is a Saturday. July 29th is a Tuesday. So maybe it's July 29th. Anyway, you slice it, cool. Happy for it. Going live at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday up against NXT on a Roku app versus a TV show. You know, I don't think that's necessarily bringing back the Monday Night Wars, right? I don't think it's gonna change anything. Now, Chris Drummond says, well, they could stay on X too. Yeah, and that's fine. Again, X was never the exciting. X never did anything for me. If anything, it's a deterrent because some people don't want to use X as a social media app. I'm struggling that with myself. I have been thinking about bringing my interviews over to Rumble. But I have a hard time wrapping my head around that because my political ideals are kind of, it's a freedom of speech app, but they don't like the speech that I would do if I was a political content creator. All this to say, not sure what's going to happen, not sure what to be excited about. I'm rambling now. You guys got me rambling. This is hour 3 of 5. So let's just get back to the NWA real quick on TikTok. Demarion asked if I live in LA. Yes, sir, I do. And thank you for the rose. I do appreciate that. Gifts are appreciated, but not necessary. I just appreciate people following me on TikTok, YouTube, Kick, and Twitch to grow this channel. So I do need to get to my Willie Bowen joke as soon as I find it. Let's see. Okay. Jeremy says, reminds everyone, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the stream afterwards, leave a comment. It all helps with Al Gore's rhythm. And that's true on both platforms. If you're watching right now on TikTok, you know, liking it and sharing it really does help grow it. If you're watching on YouTube, we're not on X, Twitch or Kick, liking the video, sharing the video, subscribing to the channel, those all help it grow. The Willie Bowen Tyrus joke of the day is, hi, J. Cal. You know what's funny? Tyrus in the wrestling ring. Okay, that got me. I don't know why that tickled me. Tyrus says, hey, that's not nice. Oh, don't hit the camera, Tyrus. Jesus. Sorry. Sean Mega says, I think the schedule will be better by August. Man, I hope so, right? Like, and the thing is, the Roku app probably will coincide with the Crockett Cup. Like, let's just line it up here. We're in the first week of Hard Times. There is no taping between Hard Times and the Crockett Cup. So if they stretch this out, we're in week 2 of Hard Times. If they stretch it out to 5 weeks, you know, boom, right now, then we'll be in a TikTok season. Did I say TikTok season? Sorry. Demarion jumped on, had posted a comment about Seth Rollins and not cashing in yesterday. I don't think you cash in against Gunther because Gunther's a beast, but I'm talking NWA right now. So yeah, I mean, Sean, I hope it does change the schedule. I mean, obviously, you know, once it hits Roku, I don't think you can be 6 months behind or 3 months behind on your taping schedule. I think it's going to be more rapidly produced. If they're getting paid for it, I think now you have to put a little bit more into getting that show out quicker and faster. Now, we do know that they're doing TV tapings right now. These are supposed to be, or not right now, but in Tampa in July. So maybe those are the first tapings for the new venture, but I would guess that it's going to be the Crockett Cup. Bobby, thank you so much for liking the video. Roswell says, Ricky the Renegade Rebel and DCCW is part of my motivation. Sucker, when I get done training, Roswell's coming after him. That's right, man. Screw you, Ricky the Renegade. Rick Del Santo's in the house. Thanks for the support, Rick. You're my guy. Rick's my guy. Of all my guys, Rick's my guy. I got a lot of guys. We got a posse. That's the next shirt. J. Cal has a posse, and it'll have my face but augmented like Andre's. It'll sell well. Dave Scooby says, a deal is a deal. Let's hope this Roku channel deal works well for the NWA. Now, if they can only get to a 3 to 4 week delay for Power, I'd be happy with that. Dave, you're preaching to the choir. This deal hopefully has financial reward for the NWA such that they can get this show taped, and then like a 3 to 4 week delay would be ideal. Look, WWE tapes a show and it pops up the next night. AEW tapes a show, it's on available the next night. Almost everybody could do that in the big time. NWA is not in the big time, but maybe this is the step that gets them closer to it. And that's what I'm excited about. That's where I could celebrate. This is just one more step in the right direction. Does this fix all the problems? No. Does this instantly make the booking better? No. Does it make the taping schedule better? No. Demarion, I'm going to answer your question in just a minute. The NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, is the oldest sanctioning body of wrestling in the United States. The historic tradition of the NWA goes back to 1948 and was built on the back of the guys like Lou Thez, Orville Brown, and more modern contemporaries. If you've ever heard of the name of Ric Flair, and if you've ever seen this guy, that's the NWA. That's the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship. And the NWA has been running continuously since 1948. It works now in the modern day. The NWA, it's owned by rock star Smashing Pumpkins lead singer William Patrick Corgan, and they have a few territories throughout the United States. Their most recent signature live event featured Natty Neihart challenging the NWA Women's World Champion Kenzie Page, and the Man Beast Rhino challenging Tom Latimer for the 10 pounds of gold, which was also a triple threat match that featured Colby Carino, son of Steve Carino. Some of your favorite talents in the NWA or in the WWE have worked previously in the NWA. AJ Styles, a former NWA champion. Ron Killings, a former NWA champion. Adam Pearce, the Raw general manager, former NWA champion. Nick Aldis, former NWA world champion. Steve Carino works at the Performance Center, former NWA world champion. Abyss works in production, former NWA world champion. Oh my God. That's too much. Why are you still talking? Sorry. I'm trying to block an account. Okay, cool. Wow. TP was coming on TikTok with a lot of woo. Sorry guys, that caught me off guard. So needless to say, the NWA is been around for a while. Some of your favorite wrestlers have wrestled for them in the past. And it continues to exist outside of, most mainstream wrestling promotions, but still with a lot of great talent. And I think anyone who watches the NWA might, it's hit or miss. For some people, they love it. Some people don't love it. I'm in the middle right now. I love the history of the NWA. I love the tradition of the NWA. I love what the NWA used to stand for. I don't really love the storytelling that they're doing these days. Talent is top notch. You will fall in love with some of the guys and girls of the NWA, but the matches sometimes aren't so great. Yeah, that got me double D. Oh, yeah, and then LA Knight. Yeah, LA Knight was in the NWA right before he signed with the WWE. Let's see. Okay, let's get to more of your comments. Okay, Double D, you might just win for the day. Jake has a posse, a picture of the Mean Street Posse with Jay, Jeremy, and DKM's faces photoshopped on it. We would do Jaden's, but he doesn't have a face, apparently. Hallmark Life Coach on TikTok says, I miss old school NWA. Is it the same organization from the 80s? Yes and no. The NWA has had different owners over the past few years. In the last 30 years, there's been 3 different actual owners of the NWA. One of them was a group of promoters working together. One of them was an attorney in Brownsville, Texas, and now the current owner is William Patrick Corgan, a.k.a. Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins. That is your NWA owner and president. Is it the same? Yes. Is it the same? No, it's not, sadly. Sean Megan says, by July 29th, it will be on week 4 of the Crockett Cup, probably the Natty versus Kenzie match. Right time to do it. Right time to, the biggest statement match the NWA has right now in its pocket is from Crockett Cup, is from Kenzie Page and Natty Neidhart. If you're going to show up on Roku on July 29th, that would be the best time to do it. Because I don't think there's a bigger match in the can for the NWA than that. And I say in the can, meaning recorded content. Obviously, they still have opportunity to do bigger and better. But I was there. I was there in the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I was there as part of the Crockett Cup, the spectacle. And it was pretty damn cool. Real quick, Demarion, right now the NWA is on x.com/the NWA. And that's how you follow it. Mia, I'm trying to keep up with all the wrestling content, but it's getting too much to follow it all. Mia, I 100% agree. You got to pick and choose, and that's the problem. You're going to miss out on some things. For me, the NWA will always be one of the promotions that I follow. But it's difficult right now to follow everything. It's hard for me to get into AEW because I spend more time with United Wrestling Network, the NWA, and Monday Night Raw, occasionally NXT. And that's that. Bobby Petito says he'd like to see Hammerstone cross paths with Tom Latimer at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, since Hammerstone will be at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling on July 5th. Yeah, I think that's going to happen, Bobby. Let me rephrase that. We know that both guys will be there, and I think Hammerstone will be a great guy to challenge for the 10 pounds of gold. But he's not coming off a victory in the NWA. He took the defeat to Silas Mason, and I think I'd rather see a return bout between those guys than Hammerstone challenging for the 10 pounds of gold. Mia, the best way to watch New Japan Pro Wrestling is to sign up for New Japan World. They literally have a streaming platform service, which is roughly about $10 a month. And it features all the New Japan Pro Wrestling content. If you're a New Japan fan, that's the best way to do it. Next announcement better be Corgan steps down as booker to focus on marketing and day-to-day numbers. Rosville, I'd be just happy if he steps down from commentating at this point. Let's see. Willie Bowen says Terry Taylor from National Wrestling Alliance. And that's true. That's a good point, Willie Bowen. Terry Taylor, former NWA North American heavyweight champion. He's also a part of the WWE. Well, he was part of TNA at one point. I don't know if Taylor's still part of the WWE. Let's see. Hammerstone would be a great opponent for Latimer. There's no question about it there, Bobby. I agree totally. Steve G says, Willie, Terry Taylor, the Red Rooster. You guys are going to get me in trouble with Willie over there. NWA World's Heavyweight Championship design is expected to look similar. Valentine, brother. I love you, man, but stop it. Stop it. Billy is on tour now, so maybe whoever's running things in his absence gets things in order and puts on some good shows to attract viewers. I mean, that'd be great. I'm interested to see who would be in the Burke Invitational Cup this year on NWA. There are some good talents out there in the NWA currently, and I mean, look at some of the releases from the WWE. And I'm not saying that they're going to grab everyone, but I know Shotzi Blackheart's out there working the indies. Tegan Knox is out there working the indies. There's a lot of very talented women out there. It just depends on what the NWA is going to do. And I mean, look, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but what if, right? What if you had an all-out WOW invasion into the NWA, and it was like half WOW wrestlers and half NWA wrestlers in the Burke Invitational? That would be something amazing. Double D says, do I trust Soriano tonight and pick him up for fantasy baseball? No way, dude. Not Soriano. No way. I wonder if they'll still post matches on YouTube. Sean, I don't see why you wouldn't. I think neglecting YouTube is a fool's game. They've done it before, and to what end? Dave Marquez said this earlier today, and I 100% agree with him. YouTube is the biggest streaming platform out there. Now, what financial gains it gives you, I can't really say, right? Like, as a content creator, I make money on YouTube. Do I make enough money to quit my day job? No, absolutely not. But it does put some coin in my pocket. Billy Corgan has a much bigger budget. He's spending way more money on producing pro wrestling than I am doing a podcast in my studios, right? That's completely legit. If he's not making money on YouTube, then I could see maybe potentially leaving the platform. But I'm sure he's making some money on YouTube. And more people have access to YouTube than they do Roku, than they do X. I mean, YouTube is really all around the world. And it's free. So there is no pay window to see content. Now, do they put every match on YouTube? I wouldn't. But I would put enough good matches to get people interested. Billy Corgan on commentary is terrible. Double D says, dude, I agree. Either Billy or Deals, not both. And Deals is the guy. Sean Mega says, New Japan has too many shows to keep up. I've tried for Mother 2 and was exhausted. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. Steve G says, Jasmine Allure for the Burke. I'm surprised you didn't say Johnny Robbie for the Burke, Steve G. No, David Valentine, I cannot confirm such things because red, green, and purple are not the traditional NWA colors. Now, that's not to say that Billy Corgan couldn't change his mind. I mean, shoot. Stay right here. Stay right here. I mean, I have an NWA shirt that's purple. I also have an NWA shirt that's green. But I don't think either one of them should be the company's colors. No, thank you. Noob says Shotzi's going to be going to AEW. I mean, it's a good place for Shotzi to go, to be quite honest with you. I'm kind of surprised she's got so many dates locked up with GCW currently. I know she'll be out in I think September out in Los Angeles for GCW. So, yeah, I mean, but until that's 100% confirmed, I think she's free to work everywhere. And what we know about the anniversary shows will probably take place around September. Late August, early September. Double D says, Paola Blaze comes in to challenge Kenzie. Holy crap. It all comes full circle for you. I just stepped on the 10 pounds of gold. I think I'm going to hell. All right. How about bringing Priscilla Kelly since she did have her match with Thunder Rosa before she got signed? I've heard that match is what got her signed. Chris says YouTube, if done right, can be great. Look at what it did for Worlds Collide. That's exactly. That's where you use YouTube. That's how you get introduced. Like, look, the NWA at one point had two shows. They had NWA USA and NWA Power. If it were me, if I was William Patrick Corgan, here's what I do. I would put Power on the Roku channel. I would put USA on X because that seems to be a platform he likes to be on. If it's still making money for him, great. Then I would put matches on YouTube. Demarion, I can't break down and do my Kevin Owens crash on the live stream during not during the pre-party. And by having those three different vehicles, like, look, you still put Exodus Pro on the NWA. Rewind all of that. Let's start over. Hi, my name is J Cal. My plan for the NWA would be trifold. You put Power on the Roku app. Period. Done. That's where it stays. Select matches from that you could put on YouTube. Select matches from that could go on that Wrestling Central channel. That's where I do. That's what I do with Power. Then I would have a USA show. And mostly of that would be like enhancement matches, but one maybe main event type match, one big match. Maybe that would be the home for the NWA territory championships, like Jeremiah Plunkett or the Exodus Pro champion Dante Casanova, or I guess Carson Drake just won the WLW title. I think that's where those matches I would put. And then on the end of it, all those matches would also go on YouTube. Not all of them. The ones that are going to get people to watch. The ones that'll make money for you. and like a few select promos and stuff like that. And then you're still using Exodus Pro is still using the channel to put out content for its live stream. So it's going to be a long day. But yeah, so to that point, yeah, YouTube can still be part of the plan. NWA USA territory matches featuring NWA talents. I like that too. What, I think what would be really interesting, and this is what I think. I'm not saying everyone agrees with me, but a title like the Mid-American Championship, that's what Jeremiah Plunkett has. To me, that should be the title that all the territory wrestlers are challenging for. So when you see a territory wrestler on Power, they should be challenging for that Mid-American Championship. Ooh, you guys are getting to it. I got to get to some more of your comments because you guys are talking about some real fun stuff. I really enjoyed Worlds Collide on YouTube. It looked just as good as it would have on Peacock. And, and the other thing about that, Jeremy, too, is like, I think it would have looked great on Peacock. But they basically gave that away for free. So fans who are watching the WWE, who were watching it on YouTube, it was almost like a buy-in show, right? Kind of. It was like a pre-show. And if someone doesn't have Peacock, it might entice them to do so. All right. Jay Edison says, what are your thoughts on Scorpio Sky challenging for the UWN World Title? I mean, I think it's safe to say that Scorpio Sky has a beautiful, wonderful relationship with United Wrestling Network. He's held every single singles title in that company, going back to when it was NWA Championship Wrestling from Hollywood. He was the NWA Heritage Champion, which later became the United Wrestling Network Heritage title. He was the NWA International Television Champion. Now it's just the United Wrestling Network Television Champion. I think for him to win that title would be everything. It would be a beautiful punctuation to his career with the United Wrestling Network. On top of that, Scorpio Sky is still under contract to AEW, and we haven't seen him on TV for over a year. And he was injured at one point. He said it 6 months ago. He said it again recently. He's cleared to go. And, the former AEW Tag Team Champion, a two-time TNT Champion, has not been worked back into storylines for AEW television, and I don't think he's going to be. So if Scorpio Sky is going to at some point be released and enter the independents once again, him being in the United Wrestling Network is not a bad place for him to be. And again, holding that United Wrestling Network World Championship sure would look really good on a guy like Scorpio Sky. With that being said, I cannot say enough good things about Danny Limelight, who for the past 2 years has held the United Wrestling Network World Championship, kept it relevant when they weren't even shooting Championship Wrestling from Hollywood matches, by taking the title to Puerto Rico, by taking the title to Alaska, by defending the title and at Future Stars of Wrestling, by defending the title at Reality of Wrestling. All of these things I think are so important. And Danny Limelight, not only that, coolest dude on the planet. I love Danny Limelight. I consider him a friend. If he needed help, I'd be there to help him. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. Double D says, by not taking it. Double D, you hold a grudge, my friend. But yeah, Danny Limelight has had a wonderful run as champion. I don't know what's next for him to prove. I mean, he beat guys like Jordan Clearwater. He beat guys like Eddie Kingston. He beat Eddie Kingston before Eddie Kingston won the New Japan Strong Championship. So, I mean, it's not like he didn't wrestle anybody. He's wrestled some pretty big names. And in recent days, I mean, he wrestled against Kenny King. He wrestled against Austin. I almost said Austin Aries. That's not right. I former X Division champion in TNA. I can't think of his name. He's had a lot of really good title matches, a lot of good defenses. He's been on fire since the United Wrestling Network has come back to producing content. So all that being said, I'd love to see the match between Scorpio Sky and the World Heavyweight Champion Danny Limelight. And I don't know who comes out on top because they're both very talented athletes. So with all that being said, I'm excited for the match. When it happens, I'll be there to see it. Ace Austin. Thank you, Steve G. That's what it was. Ace Austin. And that match, if you haven't seen it yet, it's a fantastic match. I don't know if it's aired on UWN. I haven't watched it recently because I've been at most of the tapings, but yeah, that one is a good one. If you hadn't seen it yet, go check it out. Billy needs a Spanish announcer. Don't neglect Mexico since you have it. Hey man, that's not a bad idea, but who would you get to cover your broadcasting in Spanish? Who's out there? Who's available? I don't know anyone off the top of my head. It's funny because today, it's funny when you think about. That's right, Retro. He did face Moose. I forgot about that. I think that happened in Derby City Wrestling. Getting back to the influence, and I think I'm going to make a video about this because it's been on my mind a lot. And I wrote about this a couple years ago for the Master Public Rudos Can't Kill. I know I'm not saying that right. Now I have to look. Here it is. Rudos Can't Fail. I used to write for a Lucha Libre magazine. I was a freelancer. Like I wasn't on payroll or anything, but they posted a few of my articles. And one of the ones that I wrote was about the NWA at the time, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, and its connection to the NWA. Its connection to the Lucha Libre scene. And at the time, Blue Demon Jr. is a former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Los Luchas, who are not like, a Mexican, a tag team from Mexico, a tag team from Los Angeles with, roots in the Mexican Lucha Libre. Lucha Libre has crossed over into the mainstream so much. I mean, even when you watch Raw, you saw they one of my friends posted on Facebook about, I didn't even know you can milk an iguana. Like, yeah, the WWE has found a lot of big stars that I think they will start merchandising and promoting and producing on WWE programming. Of course, Rey Mysterio as the biggest name to come from all this, but Penta, Dragon Lee, and then Ray Phoenix and Lince Dorado. You're going to see a lot more guys like this show up in the WWE, and this influence that Lucha Libre has had on this country when it comes to pro wrestling, like CMLL and AEW, all of this. But let's not forget that the NWA even had its influence with Lucha Libre, when Worlds Collide. That's the first time I saw Arez in the ring. That's the first time I saw, you caught me off guard on that one, Chris. La Rosa Negra as a Spanish announcer. I mean, that's not a terrible idea. I don't know. I say that without really even knowing, is La Rosa Negra a great commentator? Thunder Rosa seems to be like a Swiss Army knife when it comes to pro wrestling. She can do just about everything. Conan can't be your Spanish announcer because Conan works for the WWE, or rather works for AAA. We're talking about the NWA and who they could use as an announcer for them. That's a tough question. I don't know. I'm not saying there aren't guys available. Could they go and grab Juventud Guerrera? I mean, he is the NWA Kross Fire champion. Maybe he would be good on commentary. I don't know. Maybe he'd be better in the ring. Maybe now's the time you pull the trigger on putting the junior heavyweight title on Juventud Guerrera. All right. I've been all over the place today. I'm sorry, guys. Let's get back to what's important here. And that is tonight's episode of POWERRR. Now, the first match we know is obviously we kind of already know the results for, and that is we're going to see Frank, just Frank, not just Frank. He will be taking on the son of the legend, the former NWA World Champion, Steve Corino. That's Frank versus Colby Corino in the Dane Memorial Heavyweight Title Tournament. to crown a new number one contender for the World's Heavyweight Championship. Now, we know from the Crockett Cup who wins this match because Colby Corino is a part of that match based on the victory here in this one. But I still want to see how this is going to play out, considering that Frank is a big dude and Colby is a junior heavyweight by design. I know he doesn't want to be called a junior heavyweight. I know that he's put on weight, but he looks like a cruiserweight. He wrestles like a cruiserweight. Colby Corino, for all intents and purposes, is a cruiserweight. With that being said, he wants to be a heavyweight. This is his swan song in the division. If a win here puts him in a world title match, an opportunity to win the 10 pounds of gold would clearly legitimize his claim as being the Prince of Old School, would seal the fate. There's not too many father-sons who have won the 10 pounds of gold. We know that really, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the only person to do that has been Cody Rhodes and Dusty Rhodes. I don't think anyone else has done that since or before. We know that the brothers Terry Funk and Dory Funk Jr. both held the world heavyweight title, but I don't think I know Dory Funk Sr. didn't hold the title. So this would be a first time if Colby were to win. Now, Colby wins. Colby still needs to win the title. The other match on tonight's event that looks very exciting is Spencer Slade versus Hunter Drake, now known as just Hunter. Now, Slade, I think it was like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, was on Power teaming with Mondo as this really phenomenal tag team that when Crockett Cup comes, I think you're all going to enjoy this pairing. And they're going to be taking on, he's taking on Hunter. Hunter has been yet to have a productive victory in the NWA. Let me start over. It's been a long day. Hunter has not done anything of significance lately in the NWA. He's taken a loss to Bryan Idol. He's taken a loss to, I can't remember who else he faced. But the thick and short of it is Hunter is a genuine junior heavyweight. Slade is someone that they're trying to kind of wiggle into that junior heavyweight division. But Slade to me doesn't really fit that model, right? Like I said, Slade hasn't exactly set the world on fire, but like he just came off that big match, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where he and Mike Mondo defeated Big Strong Mims and Black G's. And then just a few weeks ago, Slade made his debut in Exodus Pro, winning a 4-way match in what they're calling a Watch the Throne qualifier match. So what does that mean? Slade's more on a roll than Hunter is. And Hunter, again, he's been on the losing end of Bryan Idol. He lost to Tyler Franks at Kross Fire recently. And his last victory was in a tag team match, teaming with Toby Farley. For a long time NWA fans remember Toby Farley from Smoky Mountain. And Toby Farley also works for Joe Kazana Promotions too. They won a match against Shane Williams and Tyler Franks, not to be confused with Frank. So all that being said, I'm not expecting Hunter to come out with a big victory here. Yeah, that's true, noob. He did lose to Markova. I missed a lot of your guys' commentary here. I'm going to get back to that in a minute. But yeah, not a big fan of. I'm not a huge fan of Hunter. I think he has a lot to prove still, and I hope that his push isn't based on the fact that who he's entangled with in a relationship in the company. All right. That being said, Hugo's a free agent. Vampiro. Both of these are awesome suggestions. I think Vampiro is still working with AAA, so I don't know that he would be available to work for the NWA in that role. Willie Bowen said Hector Guerrero. That's not a bad idea. I mean, I think if he's like, again, we can't just say, oh, pick this guy because he speaks Spanish. They actually have to do a good job of it, right? Like Hector Guerrero, maybe, I don't know, maybe. Dave Scooby says, send Alyssa Marino to do some territory shows in the booth. Push total local talent as well as NWA talent. I don't hate that either. Alyssa did a really good job on the Primetime Live series. I know she does commentary for some of the promotions in the Northeast. I think she'd be good. Steve G said Chavo. Again, Chavo's working for the WWE. But the whole point of this is like, are they good? You could say Chavo Jr., but I've never heard Chavo Jr. call a match. Jeremy says he wants to smoke with Vampiro. Good luck with that, brother. Good luck with that. Let's see. You're not a fan of anyone, not Hunter. You're not even the fan of the TV champ right now. No. Can we talk? Do you want me to list the guys I am a fan of? Because I like a lot of guys in the NWA roster. I don't like Hunter, right? I don't think he's very good. And I don't like Bryan Idol. The only time Bryan Idol has ever been interesting to me is when he's standing across the ring or the promo with Silas Mason. And it's so amazing to think about how good Silas Mason is in the ring and how good he is on commentary, or not commentary, but promo-wise, that he even makes Bryan Idol interesting. That's saying something. If you can make Bryan Idol interesting to me, Carson Drake, Hunter Drake. I don't like the Drakes. The only Drake I ever liked was Eli Drake. And he's not available to us anymore. All right. Bobby says he'd like to see more of Crazy Steve. Bobby, I think your wish will come true very, very soon. And then, yeah, we're getting close to wrapping this show up, which is good because I still have 2 more hours to do. Oh, no, we still got 10 more minutes. Oh, God. Oh, God. And then also the next match will be a tag team match. And I have been pleasantly surprised by the pairing of EC3 and Pretty Boy Smooth. I think they've been a very interesting tag team. And that's kind of weird for me to say. I got to see them wrestle multiple times at the Crockett Cup. We got to see them team together a couple of weeks ago. And I feel like EC3 might be looking at a run with the tag titles. And he's got a great partner in Pretty Boy Smooth. The dude is legit near 7 foot. His forehead makes him probably 7.5 feet, 7'2", based just on his forehead. But EC3 and Pretty Boy Smooth work very well as a tag team. I saw it firsthand at the Crockett Cup, and I think very highly of them as a pairing. They take on Burchill and Joe Ocasio. Now, I wish they were just painting this match as a Crockett Cup entry match, right? Like, I wish they were literally calling it that, because we got all these names announced for Crockett Cup, and there was no sign of Burchill or Ocasio, and this could have easily been like an entry match, right? Like a qualifier match for the Crockett Cup. All that being said, this looks like a really solid episode of Power. Hopefully the skits aren't too much this week. Bobby Matito says, I'm not a fan of Carson Drake. Preach, brother. Roswell says, it's letting more of EC3's real character out, and I'm digging it. You know, the thing about the Overlord as a gimmick, it's the NWA doesn't have a rank of king, right? Like, there's no King of the Ring tournament. There's no championship that isn't an actual title belt, right? Like, Crockett Cup has the trophies, but that's as a tag team, right? And when you look at the NWA, you know, you've got the world title, you've got the national title, you got the TV title, and then to a lesser extent, you've got the junior heavyweight championship. Lower down the totem pole, you got the Mid-American title. Then you've got all the regional belts underneath that. EC3 as the Mid-American champion would be interesting. Very, very interesting to me. But that title is held by Jeremiah Plunkett, and I have no need to take the belt off of Jeremiah Plunkett. But it certainly would add some more credibility to the title if somebody like EC3 had it. But I feel like right now EC3 is saying, hey, look, Tom, you go do your thing, and I'll come after you when I'm ready. This is what they should have done with Nick Aldis, guys. They learned their lesson. Nick Aldis wasn't world champion, and when he wasn't world champion, he was chasing the world title. Even so much that they put him in a tag team and then pulled him out of it to have him go chase the title. This is a good idea for EC3. It takes the pressure off of the NWA putting together another match that would be, I don't know. They've wrestled so many times now that I can't get excited about EC3 and Tom Latimer today. but in 6 months from now, it might be a different story. In the interim, you know, if Pretty Boy Smooth and EC3 get out there and really hustle and start making a challenge for those NWA World Tag Team titles or the NWA USA Tag Team titles, I can get behind that. I can really get behind that. And you don't need to take EC3 off of TV to keep him fresh. You just put him in a different direction. And that's what they seem to be doing right now. These are mistakes that they made with Nick Aldis that I guess they're learning from. So with all that being said, I mean, tonight's Power looks pretty solid on paper. It looks like it'll be a good show. I don't see anything outwardly offensive to me. I don't see anything that's going to make me cringe when I see it. Now, that's not to say I don't know what the skits are going to be. I don't know what kind of, you know, backstage segments we're going to get. But, you know, it looks like this is going to be a good episode of Power. It is originating from Dothan, Alabama. These matches were taped on March 23rd of this year at Hard Times 5, Daddy. And we know that this is all leading to the Crockett Cup, which was just filmed a couple of weeks ago in 2300 Arena in Pennsylvania. So I'm excited for tonight's Power. I hope you guys are too. If you are hanging out tonight at 4 p.m. Western, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, I'll be conducting an interview with Daggett. I need to learn how to say his name. Daggett Bondes. Let me try it one more time. Let me try that again. Daggett Bundles. He is an OVW standout, and he will also be part of the next Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiator event taking place on June 28th in Riverton, New Jersey. We'll talk about that. Western Mount Up. And then, so if you're still on YouTube at 4 p.m. after Power is over, you could join us back here on YouTube as we talk to Daggett Bundles. And then later this evening, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll be talking to the promoter of Epic Pro Wrestling here in Los Angeles, California. And we have a whole bunch to talk about. Andrew likes to talk shit, so we'll be doing a lot of shit talking. I need to go rest my voice. I need to go have a drink. I need to lay down for a little bit. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me, both on TikTok and on YouTube. I genuinely appreciate you guys hanging out with me. It brings me joy to know that we're uniting a community of wrestling fans to talk NWA and to talk all pro wrestling. Like I said, we'll be back later this evening. And then again on Thursday, we'll be doing the Alliance Guys podcast live stream right here on YouTube, TikTok, and not TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, and Devin, that's okay, brother. You don't have to be here. I appreciate that. Willie says, could you do another interview with Big Mama? You know, probably, Willie, but not anytime soon. Big Mama was awesome. If you guys hadn't heard that interview, she was really good. Such a sweetheart. I think you guys will enjoy that one if you haven't listened to it already. I need to go lay down. It's been a long day. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Thank you so much for being a part of all of this. We'll try to do more interviews coming up in the future. I know that we're also going to be speaking to Biggie Biggs, former challenger for the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship in those frontier days of the National Wrestling Alliance. That'll be coming up, I believe, next week. And we got a lot more cool stuff coming here. So keep hanging out with us, keep talking the talk and walking the walk. And until next time, I'll see you at the matches. Thanks for checking out the pre-party, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. You should hit that subscribe button and join our community. I also want to remind you that we recap NWA Power every Thursday, 8 p.m. in the live stream. We try to stay social, so find us at the Alliance blog. And until next time, we are the Alliance.